call, Mr. Manning.
Mr. Rich? Present. Mr. Venable?
Present.
Ms. Gilbert?
Present.
Mr. Sis? Present. Chairman present.
We'll have our prayer with Mr. Porter, our pledge.
God, our Father, we're blessed. We're so blessed to be here today to enjoy the freedom to gather together to discuss public business. We're thankful for those that have chosen to serve the public through elected office and other ways. So we pray you'll be with them and be with their families. God, we pray you'll give them wisdom and discernment, knowledge, strength, and compassion for those around them. Watch over them and guide them and help them with this meeting today. We pray that everything we do will be acceptable to you, pleasing in your sight. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we approve the agenda, I'd like to make a change to number 5. It'll be number 5 will be to set aside rules because of recent death, and to name Paul Smith as the director of VMA. And then on number 11, the executive session for talk about litigation. Any more changes? Additions?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I second.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? We have no awards and presentations, and we have Mr. McAllister has signed up to speak. Mr. McAllister.
Thanks, sir. I'd like to say thanks to the commission for their support. I'd like to do that. Appreciate it.
Thank you. We have no old business, no new business. Number 1 will be a motion to approve the birthday policy that we talked about in the last meeting.
Can we refresh how that stands at this time? How did we leave that?
It'll be, the employee will have to take it, it won't cause any overtime, and the employee will have to take it in the month of their birthday.
So the birthday's the 30th or 31st? They can take it prior to?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to, is this going to be permanent? I mean, I like to vote on it each year, hoping that we'll be able to bring in some revenue to give raises. And I'll agree with this right here, but I'd like to vote on it each year with the possibility.
Any more thoughts? I don't know, with it not costing any funds, I don't know, can you elaborate a little bit more why?
Well, I just, some of them, I had a couple phone calls, and they want to know, is that going to be our raise? I said, no. I said, it's just something we're trying to give as a gift, because we don't have the funding to do so. And I said, I wouldn't keep it there and said that we can give, that's what we need to look at. But I said, my personal opinion, I'd rather just went on each year.
But in no shape or way you wouldn't take the raises from the future.
Would it be difficult to make it within 30 days of their birthday instead of a month of their birthday?
No, that's just the way we word it, we can make it either way.
30 days prior to, 30 days after, or 30-day window either
I
side?
give them
60
more
days.
flexibility. I mean, their birthdays.
15 days either side?
Yeah, 15 days either way. Or something. I just, their birthdays close to a holiday, you may want to extend a long weekend. And
Just so I can add, that may pose a problem to the tag office, and if you make it 30 days before or after that crunch time, somebody's birthday may come in that crunch time, that he really needs all hands on deck.
That's true.
So
it
60
would be,
days.
It would be 15 days either
Okay.
way, but
Yeah.
still it could, but it would have to be approved by the department head.
Yeah, it's the same way, yeah, it'd be prior.
And if the department head didn't approve it, then they could take it another time. Or
Right. Right, yeah, if it was just a bad week, they could.
And then that would be outside that time frame?
Yeah, it'd still fall under current policy.
But if they had to, like, say they waited till 28 days or 14 days in one direction, it was almost over and they couldn't, something came up, they couldn't do it, who would be the one to approve it?
Yeah, since you and Victor's here, you said it'd been a problem.
Was we not supposed to be giving their birthday already?
I didn't, but mine was the second, can we retroactive?
Yours don't count.
I don't see it being a problem. I think that we could, myself, I could just talk to us and we can say this is how we're gonna do it
I
and.
mean, just within 30 days.
Yeah. Do you see?
What was you saying in your birthday month?
Yeah, that's why we had talked about it in the work session, but it could be within 30 days
I mean,
before or after.
we can work with it either way.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. We can.
How much
Thank you.
notice would y'all want?
Do what?
How much notice would y'all want, would they put in for it, like today at 4 o'clock, not put in for it for tomorrow, does that need to be in there?
Well, that wouldn't be no different than any other day off. Taking a day off.
We
sort of like comp time.
We schedule, I just have them scheduled, nobody can schedule off to be two people at one time.
Okay.
So if nobody's off tomorrow and somebody tell me today at 4:30 they wasn't gonna work tomorrow, then that's fine. I don't have a real notice, if something comes up.
And this affects Jonathan also?
Yeah.
So,
He don't have birthdays. He's ageless.
yeah.
I stopped those years
ageless.
ago.
So, does that work for your department?
We can work it out. If you guys see fit from have that day off for their birthday, we'll work it out.
And Rocky, speak for your department? I know it's hard for y'all to get a day off because you don't have enough people.
It's fine, it's fine, it'll be like all day, our guys work 12 hours, so they'll have to take 4 if they use 4, but,
Yeah.
no problem.
So how are we gonna leave it? What is the decision?
I'll make a motion, we do it as a permanent and try it out for 30 days either way of their birthday to begin with.
Okay. Got a motion?
With approval, with supervisor approval? That make sure that's in there.
Off
I'll second the motion.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Number 2, we have a motion to accept the hiring committee's recommendation of Thomas Robinson for the vacant temporary labor position for Jackson County Sanitation Department.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Number 3, we have a motion to accept hiring committee's recommendation of Randy Lance for the vacant MVT1 position for Jackson County Revenue Office Tax and Titles Division.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
A motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Number 4, be a motion to approve naming the Emergency Operations Center located in the courthouse, the Felix L. Jackson Emergency Operations Center.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
A motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Number 5, will be to set aside the rules because of the recent death of our EMA director and name Paul Smith the permanent EMA director.
Could you go into detail about the reason why you wanted to do that? I know Felix was working on some
Yeah.
money through federal and state grants and
Yeah, I had met with Ricky Little today, and there were several projects that Felix was working on that needs to be signed off. As soon as they come ready, need to be signed off by the EMA director. And these are because of all the red tape that they have to go through, it would be better if it was the director, not an interim. Because if it was an interim and then it changed to somebody else, it would just cause a lot of problems, a lot of issues. And it's quite a bit of money that Felix was working on.
Of course, I know this wasn't exactly Mr. Smith's plan, but he discussed this with him, though.
I have, and he's fine.
It was his initial plan to roll in as director because we expected Felix to be there forever. So.
Right. Any more questions on it? I need a motion for it.
I'll make a motion to set aside the rules and name Paul Smith the director of the EMA.
I second that motion.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor say aye. All opposed. Number 6, we have a motion to approve the FY 2020 budget amendments. If you would, Mr. Manning, if you could explain that.
Yes, sir. Should be a copy there in your packet. Item one, we found out after the budget was approved that the Jackson County Board of Education is going to run the resource officers through their payroll. So item number one would be just to remove the revenue and the expenditures for the resource officers completely from the budget. So then, no effect, it's just be removing it. Any questions on that one?
Yes, sir.
Item number two is just adding in the Rebuild Alabama, the 593 is what we're expecting to get this upcoming year. And we just got the fund created, we had to put a specific fund on the computer for this. And so the 593 was our estimated amount we'll be receiving, and you guys have already approved the projects back in August. Those have to be approved before August 31st of each year. And they're attached to the second sheet there, the ones that you approved and for your review there. And then we also had to create Fund 221. This is for the $400,000 in the Federal Exchange Fund dollars. But normally we don't budget that. We just approve that through the course of the year, and with our county engineer, and he'll come to you guys, and we'll just approve that. But with it, we have to create a new fund starting this year for that. So we're just going to plug in $400,000 for that. And again, it'll just be a plug-in, a revenue, and an expenditure for that. So it's just basically adding those two items to the budget. Questions on any of those?
No, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Need a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Number 7, be discuss the surplus of public works trucks and equipment.
Thank you, Chairman, Commissioners. I have a few slides that I'll be working from to go through some of this, and there's a lot of information on this first sheet. I'm going to touch on each of the categories briefly, but I'm going to just delve into the dump truck portion. And that's a little misleading because it is dump trucks, but it's also the road tractor we have. So I want to talk kind of generally a minute before I get into the weeds. Just to give you a background on this process and what's led us to this point. This body, you guys were involved in conversations and efforts to try to utilize Fund 100 as it was originally intended, and to allow for less restrictions on that fund when it comes to purchase power for not only materials but equipment. The legislative delegation also saw fit for our purpose, and the local law was changed this past session to allow for any expenditure out of Fund 100 to be for materials and equipment, and not limited to a certain percent in that fund. So that, coupled with the Rebuild Alabama Act, which is going to bring in some new revenue as it relates to equipment usage, were really the main two components we needed to start a rotation program for not just triaxle dump trucks like we've been experiencing, but for other components, on-road trucks, tractors, yes, some equipment, and I'll touch on a little bit of equipment tonight, but there's a whole nother equipment plan, and it's just a part B. But the main thing, the main need in a lot of the area where I think we can see good results are on-road trucks, and definitely the dump trucks. And so a lot of that's what we want to get into tonight. I'm going to focus on a very small component of this, which is just the dump truck portion. And that'll kick this off, but what's really driving that is we need to place orders now or soon so that we can be in line on our build dates. A lot of counties are doing this now. And so actually getting new trucks is an issue on being on the order list early enough to make sure that your surplus trucks make it to the March auction. So ideally the March auction is your greater contractor presence. You can anticipate best results generally. There are other auctions that do well too, but that March one is what they tell us, hey, you want your stuff down here in March. And, you know, so like we've been experiencing with the triaxles, I'm gonna show how that same theory relates to the other, I hope to, relates to the other parts of our equipment. Now, being mindful that the triaxles, they're kind of a unicorn, okay? What I mean by that is, they're a really large purchase price. They have federal excise tax for everybody else to the tune of about 12%. And then we have an auction process to where after we use these for 1 year, like we've been doing, and we send them to auction, these folks that buy from that don't have to pay federal excise tax. That only applies to a new purchase, okay? So you have these little small percentages that work in our favor, but when you got a big purchase price out there, those numbers really add up for our favor, and the difference in our purchase price, using them for a year, sending them to auction for that sale price. So that's the good that we've been experiencing on our dump trucks. And that's not easily replicated when it comes to other categories of this. But in general, the rule still applies. We can buy equipment or trucks, okay, and they're marketable. There's a strong market for whatever we're buying. We get government pricing. We pay no sales tax, okay. So if we take care of it and use it very little, it stands to reason that we could do well in resale. So I would propose to you that that makes a lot more sense as a business model than buying a truck, receiving those same kind of discounts, hanging on to it for several years, and getting into a category where we're seeing a lot of maintenance, we're having a lot of liability, we're out of warranty, our resale does not exist anymore. So being mindful that there's going to be depreciation in all these categories I'm going to talk about, and it costs something for us to do all that. So it won't be as good as the triaxles. I'm just prepping you for that. Okay, so starting in on this sheet, the top part is trucks. I'm going to touch on it just generally, and I'm going to focus in on the dumps. You'll see the type of trucks listed on the left, the quantity that I'm proposing, and then there's a column that says new, a column that says surplus, and then a column that says cost. So what that represents is if we go and buy 11, taking that top line, 11 half-ton trucks, 150 or comparable, F-150s are comparable, that's going to cost us $350,000. And if we take our current inventory and surplus that, what it's replacing, we should receive around $110,000. These are based on auction, the conversations with the auction company, looking at the value, offering a proposal for budget numbers. We could expect $110,000 on that surplus, so we're looking at a $240,000 capital requirement to make that change. Okay. And when I come back with these, I'm gonna break these down in components. Okay. And we'll dive into each category and try to analyze, and I'll do my best to try to show you the logic behind where the rotation point would be, where I'm proposing the rotation point to be, and why it would make sense to do this. So that same theory applies to all those numbers, and they work down through the dump trucks, through the tractors, and these are government pricing through ACCA or Sourcewell or some other group buying alliance for the purchase price. And at the very bottom, there's some equipment listed there, but you said you weren't going to talk about equipment, so let me explain that. So there's a cat roller you see, compactor, there's a cat wheel loader, and a cat motor grader. You all remember the cat program that is going now, where we have a lot of our heavy iron in that program. The wheel loader and the motor grader are two remaining pieces that run frequently or every day that are not in that. So those are aging pieces not covered by the program that the other ones are in. So that equipment plan that I'll be bringing forward later will include the wheel loader and the motor grader. And then that compactor, it's actually a purchase. If you see there's capital there required in the new column, it's in that equipment program now, and I'm going to propose that we purchase that. It'll have a payoff at the end of that, a balloon payment. We pay it, it's a very low hour piece, keep it, substitute another one in, and redo that program that's going now. And then a whole new program will include the wheel loader and the motor grader. Okay? So that's why, but the selling of those pieces will actually see, that number there, $82,000 coming in from the sale, which will apply to these other components. So, any questions on this whole thing before I delve into the dump truck portion?
One quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
On the top where you were talking about the surplus column,
Yes, ma'am.
That is the vehicles that are not being rotated yearly, those are older vehicles, so that's not what we do expect once we enter into the program, right?
That's correct. That's numbers that they say we can
Based on
guarantee,
what we have now.
guarantee your inventory we have. That's right.
Thank you.
Okay, so moving on into the dump truck component. You should have a document in your packet that looks like this. This will look familiar to you. It's our agreement, our proposal from the auction company that we've been with for several years. And so in the proposal, if you just flip to the back sheet, I'll be working from that on talking about what we're looking at. You'll see the heavy-duty triaxle dump trucks, which are the Kenworth trucks, 2 Internationals, which are current inventory, 2018 Kenworth T370s. So you'll probably remember when we purchased these were to replace 2 aging medium-duty dump trucks that were in current inventory, and we did this in a large package where we did the sign truck, the Durapatcher truck, and several other pieces. These tandem medium duty trucks were also purchased in. It's the 2018 Kenworths. Okay, so the flagship of this proposal and what I just talked about are the heavy duty triaxles, which you see here. So the 2020 Kenworth T800s are what's on the ACCA bid. You're looking at the purchase price for those, and part of this component that we're proposing is purchasing 4 of those. Now, current inventory is 3, so I'm proposing that we purchase an additional heavy-duty triaxle truck, and we reduce our inventory on the medium-duty tandem axle trucks. Okay. Current inventory on the medium-duty tandem axle is 4, but I'm proposing we purchase 3. Okay, the reason for that is we have realized anywhere from $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 to $20,000 a year on profit from selling these at auction. So by increasing the heavy-duty trucks and reducing one of the medium-duty trucks, I feel like we can buy all of what I'm showing here, and the profits from the heavy duties will cover the depreciation from the 3 medium duties, okay? The road tractor, we're gonna get our money back guaranteed. And the heavy duty triaxles, if we purchase those, J.M. Wood's gonna give us a written guarantee of what we paid for it every year. So it really just comes down to the auction, how the auction sets up, what number we are, what type of equipment we have, and what the market is at the time. But we're at least gonna get every penny of what we spend on the heavy duty triaxles and the road tractor guaranteed back every year. So it reduces our liability by 1 on the medium duties, and we get rid of 2 aging medium duties that are the Internationals here. That's the ones you see the $18,500 offer on. So let me give you a case study of the medium duties, because it's probably becoming really apparent to you that there is a depreciation. Why can't we make a profit on the medium duties like we can the heavy duties? The market's not there. Okay, our pricing's still good that we're buying from. It's just contractors, when it comes to a medium duty versus a heavy duty truck, there's a lot more demand for the heavy duties. But you'll notice in this offer that they're 2018, you're selling 2018 T370s, which is a tandem axle medium duty. They're offering us $90,000 for them, okay? So when it goes to auction, it's gonna be 3 years old. We paid $107,000 for those trucks, okay? So $5,000, $6,000 a year if you do that linear. Well, we paid $80,000 for Internationals that are on here as well, and they're 2011 models, and now they're worth $18,500. So what I'm submitting to you is that by staying in that 1 year, 2 year range with those medium duties and rotating those, we're not only going to reduce liability, stay in warranty. If we go 1 year, barely change the oil, not buy any tires, you're also not going to realize the depreciation that we are in the current model that we're operating. So this is a rundown for the heavy duty triaxles. We'll be selling 3, buying 4. in this proposal. The medium duties, we have a choice to make if we want to proceed with this. They're 2021s Peterbilt 348s. That's the purchase price for the Peterbilt. 2021 Kenworth T370, which is like we have currently, that's the purchase price for those. So those would be, we'd be starting from scratch on the build dates, getting in line with the build dates. Obviously, ox bodies, all that would, would have to run the full gambit before we would take possession of either one of those. But you can see the purchase price there. Either truck is interchangeably, when they're this close. It really comes down to service and warranty service and your dealership and honestly the sales folks that you're working with, which is really good with Peterbilt. I can't totally say the same for Kenworth, but it's probably has to do with a lot of demand and we're buying 3 or 4 trucks and a lot of these contractors are probably buying 50. So all those things come to the table. The road tractor. That's the numbers for the road tractor. The 2021 Peterbilt 389, 139, 150. 2021 Kenworth W900, 141. You'll notice a price jump here from last year. We were like in the 120s. But the auction company says do not buy another manual transmission day cab road tractor. The struggles we have with CDL drivers, contractors, same struggles, right? So they want the Ultra Glide. They want the Ultra Glide transmission. That's about a $12,000 option for these. So both of those are priced comparatively. I need to mention something here on the Kenworth. There is availability issues with that Kenworth. So it's got a build date of February, whereas the Peterbilt, we should be able to get that sooner. The availability for it will be a lot sooner. So when it comes to making that March auction, the Peterbilt will be my recommendation on this. Backing up one slide on you, this one is really your choice. In my opinion, the only thing would be if we want to stand out a little different in the auctions, Peterbilt is now in the ACCA game, okay? Peterbilt was not an option until recently through the ACCA purchase, but they're there on triaxles and the medium duties, I think we're going to be a limited group of medium duties anyway, so it probably don't matter. But if we definitely want to be different, the Peterbilts would be the new thing at the auction. Backing up one more slide. This I need to mention too. There's a slight price increase, and that is because of the extended cab. So one of their recommendations was that little bit larger cab. The Kenworths are running right now. I mean, they fit me driving it, but I'm not a big guy. Big guys, it's tight. So they bumped the cab out a little bit, and that was included in their option list on the ACCA.
They have automatics in those too.
Yes, sir. We've been to automatics for 3 or 4 years now, I guess. Okay, so there's the proposal. If we want to move forward, and I know this is quick, you hadn't gotten any information prior to this, and I apologize for that. We've been working on numbers and working on this whole plan. I'm not bringing this to you for a decision tonight. Don't feel pressured for that. If you want to move on this and we want to work through it, I'm good with that. If you want to take this and digest it and analyze it and let's talk any of your questions, that's good too. I just wanted to get this in front of you. And the dump truck portion is more urgent than the other because of that March deadline we're facing.
If we waited 2 more weeks to vote on it, if we had it in the next work session and 2 weeks from now had it on a voting meeting, would that
That's fine.
be well within your time?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
I think it's a good idea. I think it's worthy of us to note that, that Fund 100 built had capital building up in it.
Yes, sir.
This would be a really good time to do this because this is a pretty large capital outlay for the upfront cost of this. But I would like to see a sheet or run some numbers on the year after this. What obligation would come out of that Fund 100 to maintain this year in and year out. And I know I'm asking you to look into your crystal ball but maybe you could take some of the past history of what we've done with dump trucks and maybe some other counties that have done this and see what they've lost depreciation wise, what was brought when it went to auction on some of these smaller vehicles and stuff, just where we could kind of get an idea of what our annual obligation would be to, you know, to keep this program up and running.
Did you have those numbers by the 4th? That'd be a work session.
Yeah, actually, on this slide I have pulled up, out beside that, I didn't discuss it, and I apologize for that, but the last column is rotation cost. So in that column is what I anticipate the annual cost to be to maintain that rotation. So, like with the dump trucks, if we're just focusing on dump trucks right now, that would be $15,000 a year. So, and what I base that on is our 2018 trucks that'll be going to auction at 3 years old. A $90,000 guarantee on those versus the $107,000 that we paid. So if we follow that same linear depreciation, negating profits from the triaxles, then $15,000 a year, you know, putting $5,000 a year on each one of those three was how I arrived at the $15,000. Now, in reality, I anticipate we'll see profits from those triaxles that at least partially offset that 15, maybe totally wipe it out. So we're going to be very low operational annual cost in the dump truck portion of this. And that column represents the sketching in the sand on what I anticipate that annual amount to be that we would need to maintain the rotation.
And also the resale or adoption, the Peterbilt would probably bring more money versus the Kenworths. Is that what I'm understanding?
I have to go by what they tell me. I don't ever know, but a lot of it is all circumstances. So whatever, you know, there's a lot of stuff there, right? So any little thing we can do to be different and stand out, that's what they tell me works. So I believe the first person to make that option with Peterbilt's is gonna ride that for several auctions until maybe the others catch on. So I think so.
Right.
Kenworth, you know, they make profits for us. Max have always done good for us, you know, traditionally. So, you know, it's really kind of.
If you look at the workforce, though, that Kentworth is probably the tops when it comes. I mean, if you just look right here from here to Florence, I'd say Kentworth is probably the top rated. Peterbilt's always been a standout truck, but
right.
you know, when it comes to construction deal, I don't know.
I don't think there's a way to go wrong with either of those two brands.
They're both in the tops.
But as we go through this, yes, we're thinking about our needs and what we need to do our job, but it brings a whole different view into this on, well, now we really got to start thinking about what other people want. And then also we'll talk equipment, but the cash balances that will be coming forward, you can see Fund 100 and the cash balance there that we'll be working from. Thank you, Commissioner Chairman.
We'll move number 7, number 8 to next work session. We got a motion to table it, Mr. Hamel, we need a second. And a second, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed. Number 9, we have a motion to accept hiring committee's recommendation of Toby Plumley for the vacant HMT2 position, Jackson County Public Works Department.
I'll make the motion, Department Smith. I'll second. Plumley, excuse me.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed. Number 10, we have a motion to accept hiring committee's recommendation of Billy Ray Smith for a temporary labor position in Jackson County Public Works Department.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor say aye. All opposed. Number 11, we'll be going into executive session for purpose of litigation.
I'll make that motion.
Got a motion
I'll second it.
and a second, all in favor say aye. All opposed.
Mr. Chairman, that the minutes should reflect that the commission has the authority to go into executive session and discuss any litigation.
Thank you. And we'll return.